It is Friday, and that means we are covering the courts, getting you ready for the big cases that are going to be going before judges in the coming week. I'm Grace Runkle, and we're looking at a little bit of a slower week ahead, of course, because of Memorial Day. Courts will not be open on Monday, but there are a couple counties that have some sessions starting up on Tuesday. So we're going to walk you through those, and we're going to be starting in Pickens County. So take a look at this mugshot. This is Bobby Lynn Ferguson Jr. He faces 9 counts of criminal sexual conduct with a minor, and he's due in court next week. Now, we actually got a hold of his case file from the Easley Police Department. I'm going to show that to you, and you can see that it is heavily redacted. Not so much on this page, but there you go. All those black boxes, those are things that the police department said they couldn't release just yet before the trial is done. They wanted to make sure that they're protecting the victims in this case, especially because it's a criminal sexual conduct case with a minor involved. They said we'll be able to release a lot more information once the trial is complete. So we might be able to come back and update you, but we can tell you what we know so far. The warrants say that Ferguson engaged in sexual battery with a child at his home between the years of 1986 and 1994. So not a recent crime, but the victim filed the police report eventually in 2021. Ferguson was arrested 3 months later. That's his arrest warrants that you're looking at there. And that's where we were able to get the bulk of the details and really piece all of this together. The warrants say that Ferguson used his authority in the family as a father figure, and that's how he was able to coerce this child into doing whatever he wanted. Investigators say the abuse eventually stopped when the child was between 11 and 12 years old. If he is found guilty of these charges, Ferguson could spend the next 25 years or the rest of his life in prison behind bars. Now, we're going to now move over to Oconee County, and if you've been watching us for a couple years, this case might sound familiar. So take a look. This here is David Wayne Elliott. He's scheduled for a plea hearing this week in Oconee County, or this coming week. Now, this is a wild story that we told you about before. Last October, sheriff's deputies arrived at a house in Oconee County on Old Hurricane Road for what they thought was a burglary. They found Elliott had locked himself inside the house with the homeowners. Eventually, deputies were able to get inside and arrest Elliott, and they found damage to a window and a door frame. Now, he's facing a lot of charges here, including burglary, possession of a controlled substance, assault and battery, malicious injury to property, and breach of peace. And again, that's a plea hearing, so we're not going to be getting a verdict in that case anytime soon, but we're going to see whether or not he pleads guilty or not guilty. Again, not a lot of courts are going to be very busy next week with the holiday, but we have looked ahead to the coming weeks in June, and we are seeing some pretty packed dockets. So we're going to continue to keep you up to date while we're covering the courts, and even make sure that we're giving you updates as these cases continue to move through the court system. But for now, Grace Runkle, Fox Carolina News.